welcome to a bit of a different one for me, but I want to start doing these because I think it sounds fun. I love cooking, I love chatting, so this is a cook with me, and as you've probably seen by the title, today I'm making a halloumi curry. Delicious, wintry, warming, vegetarian, if that's your vibe. I say delicious, I've never made it before, but it's got to be great. Halloumi, coconut milk, curry sauce. I'm also going to do it with some flatbreads and rice. So you can totally recreate this recipe. We'll see by the end of the video if it turned out well and if you even want to recreate it. And I will either put an ingredients list in the description or I will link the recipe on my Instagram if it made it that far. So if you want the ingredients list, it'll be there. And yeah, I did put a question box on my Instagram asking some fun questions so we can chat about those as we cook. But if you're not subscribed, do subscribe because the only videos are Wednesday and Sunday, and give this video a like because I guarantee you're going to enjoy it. Let's get into the cooking. Unfortunately, I'm not well equipped enough to have 2 camera angles. Maybe one day, maybe that's the goal for 2022, but I'm going to start by chopping an onion. I have heard that if you just don't breathe through your nose when you're chopping an onion, then you'll be fine. So my plan is to just not talk too much, but it's going to be a bit of a challenge, that one. I think we made it without crying. That is a good hack. You may or may not know that I really dislike onions. They're one of my big food dislikes. I pick them out for everything, especially when they're raw. But they do add a lot of flavour to things, so I often cook with them, but I'm going to blend this sauce. So absolutely fine, we can just chuck them in. So what I'm going to do is I've already boiled the kettle, by the way. Put a hot one. I've only got like a bit of a small-ish saucepan, but this is just for me and Chef Jeff, so hopefully it's not billowing out of this saucepan by the end of it. But I'm going to heat probably like a teaspoon of coconut oil in the pan, throw the garlic in, well, probably a bit more than a teaspoon, throw the onion in there, then throw a bit of garlic, a bit of ginger, melt that coconut oil first. It's currently Friday night, by the way, and it's been a bit of a weird couple of days. I did actually vlog a little bit yesterday, and I was planning on doing like a day in the life vlog and like working out and stuff because we were coming back from Bluestone in West Wales where we were for the week, but I just had a bit of a negative kind of mental health day. I just had to kind of like prioritize myself for a bit, but also wanted to be honest and say that like if you are struggling this time of year, that's okay. You're not alone. However you feel, someone else feels the same way, that's a guarantee. And just because it's Christmas, don't feel the need to be like rainbows and bunnies all the time. You're not seeing what everyone's really going through on Instagram. It is literally a highlight reel, and I have to remind myself of that all the time. But I just think with everything that's kind of going on in the world, it just like hit me too much last night, and I just couldn't cope with all the uncertainty all the time. But I feel better today, and cooking just really relaxes me, and I thought it'd be fun to have a chat and just hang out tonight, you know. 3 cloves and my garlic crusher, so I'm gonna whack them in here one by one. Also, I was planning on like, you know, looking nice for this video. I was like, oh, I'll put on like a nice blouse and, you know, a pair of jeans and like whatever. And then I was like, do you know what? These are the pajamas that I've been living in for the last couple of days. When we were away with my family, my sister and brother-in-law actually bought these for everyone, like me and Jeff and my mum and the kids, like my niece and nephew. So we were all matching. And basically me and Jeff haven't taken them off since we got home. We love them. I rate this lazy ginger. I think it's absolutely amazing. Like when you buy a bag of that ginger, just put like a teaspoon of this in there. Yeah, nice. Maybe, yeah, that'd be fun. When you buy the kind of like, you know, raw ginger from Tesco, like you never use a whole bag of it. Yeah, I really like the lazy ginger. So right now I have my onions, my garlic, and my ginger in there. I'm now gonna add my like curry spices. So I'm just kind of winging it, but I've got out turmeric, garamasala, cumin, and mild chilli powder. So I think that should do. I'll probably just throw in like a teaspoon of each. I really like garam masala. It's like one of my favourite kind of curry herbs. Okay, I'm putting about this much in. There you go. I'm putting about that much in. So much a teaspoon. Garam masala, half a teaspoon of chilli powder. It's important to put the dry herbs in the pan whilst it's hot, like before you put it on, you know, your meat or your vegetables, because it like releases all the flavours. heat really releases all the flavours, and then you can kind of add in then like your passata or coconut milk. I'm using both chopped tomatoes and coconut milk for this. Turmeric, love turmeric, makes everything really nice colour. So I'm going to do half a teaspoon of that. And then probably do like a bit more cumin, like maybe like a teaspoon or about 3/4 of a teaspoon. Do like this much. You want to focus, can you see? This much. Okay. Also then if you want to add more spices, like later down the line, that's fine, but I'm going to just marry this up. Oh, it smells really nice. I will show you a bit more of this as we go, but right now it's just onions, garlic, ginger and herbs in a saucepan. Let me get on to my first question. Best and worst bits of being self-employed, and what piece of advice would you give to someone starting their own business? Thank you, obsessed with your content. Thank you. Do you know, I actually talk about this all the time because I do love being self-employed, but I've been in employment literally my entire life. Like I went from uni to working in hospitality, worked my way up to a manager, and then I started working in marketing, worked my way up to a manager, and then even before that, like in uni, obviously I had jobs, whether that was retail or hospitality, whatever. I've just always been in employment with the mindset of like working your way up, and like that is the goal, and always striving for the next thing. And James Smith always recommends this book, 4-Hour Work Week. I think I'm going to shove my chopped tomatoes in now. I'm going to put them all in. Let's see how much we want it. Shove it all in, why not? He talks a lot about like work for work's sake, and like meetings for meeting's sake, and just, it kind of opened my eyes a little bit. I'm actually going to chop a bit of coriander and throw this in because I'm going to blend this. About a little handful. Just gonna shove that in. It's just the complete lack of flexibility and trust sometimes. You know, you kind of give up so much of your life being in this kind of environment, working for somebody else, which is absolutely fine, and I get that, like, works so well for some people. Of course, like, it worked really well for me at the time because that was the place I was at the time. Like, things change, like you kind of evolve, your purpose evolves. But I think I kind of got to the point where I was like, life is like so much more than this. There are obviously pros to being employed, especially if you enjoy your job, like that is amazing, and obviously the financial security is great, and you know, you could have really good camaraderie with your colleagues, you have like Christmas parties and socials and you know, all that kind of like office environment, or you know, there are lots of pros, but for me the kind of cons outweighed the pros. And then when I was put on furlough during lockdown and then eventually made redundant, it just all kind of pieced together for me, because whilst I was on furlough I started setting up my business, which is nutritional coaching. So I'm an online nutritional coach now, and I felt like there was a gap in the market for me because I just didn't feel like there was that kind of online coach who just focuses on the basics and like the nutrition. I felt like a lot of it was like, yeah, do like a 15-minute HIIT workout in your house and whatever, and it's like people need to learn the fundamentals, like building habits, like the importance of like energy expenditure, the law of thermodynamics, protein, like macronutrients, sleep, hydration, hormones, menstrual cycles, like just movement, like everything. Building those habits that are going to set you up for life. I just felt like there was a gap in the market, and so long story short, I set up my own business. But I did do a whole video on setting up my own business, so I'll link that up here if you haven't watched it. I literally talked in depth about starting my own business, and she did ask for tips on how to start. The pros is just like the freedom is amazing. Like yesterday, for example, I was on air, like I do some radio cover, and you know, it's 4 till 7, so I go in there about 2:30, and it's like if I was in another like 9-to-5 job, they wouldn't just like let me have the afternoon off to go and do a radio show, you know, and just like the timings, like I'm happy working in the evening, like sometimes I'm up till midnight working, and that's fine because it's like for me, so I work on my time. Like I love getting up in the morning, doing my morning routine, and then I love going to the gym at like 10:30 when it's quiet. I'm just turning this off, I'm gonna let it cool before blending it with a hand blender. The only con really for me, like literally the only con I can, but then again I am newly self-employed, it's obviously financially, like you have a lot less security. You know, you're not guaranteed anything, which can be quite stressful. Also, I wouldn't have been able to set up my business or anything if I hadn't have previously gone through a breakup and sold my old house, which literally like funded me setting up my own business, paying for rent during that transitional period, and like just paying for everything from like graphic designers to accountants to all the systems that I use. Like it was quite costly, just in the kind of first instance. So I would say if you want to go self-employed, like A, maybe start it as like a side business first. B, start saving some money to put behind it initially, because now I'm just like back at square one, but like I could never have dreamed of being self-employed like with my own business I'm like this passionate about, and would happily work 24 hours a day because I love it. And I hope that answers the question. A bit of a ramble. So it'll be very hard for you to see the sauce, but it's kind of looking like this, like a thick tomatoey sauce. Great filming skills there. Okay, that's kind of how the sauce is looking. I'm gonna add coconut milk to this in a second. Any advice for going through a breakup? Where do I start? Where do I start? I've actually been thinking about doing like a full video on this, like talking about this, because going through a breakup, which was like 2.5 years ago now, was probably like the worst time of my life so far, and I never expected something just like a breakup, which is just kind of like a passing conversation that you have, to be so difficult. And so if you'd like me to talk more about that, then let me know in the comments / give this video a like. Is that you? Got a task for you. I hate this thing. I hate it so much. We need to get a new one. I keep saying I need to buy a new one, but I just keep forgetting.
What's going on, Bloomies? What's happening?
Matching
Caught me in matching pyjamas. This is fun for me, isn't it?
I did tell them before.
Oh, great. Well, you know, I do love them actually. I can't pretend. Jess's sister got them for us, and I think, you know, lovely, innit? There you go.
Thank you.
No worries.
We now have a permanent member of the vlog. Welcome, Chef Jeff. I'm going to do 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water, and I'm going to stick it on now actually, because I like to let it sit and like steam a little bit. So in terms of breakups, this could be a whole video that Chef Jeff and I could do together if you wanted. I'm happy to talk about it because I think it's important to know that like if you feel shit about it, then that is normal, because I think sometimes people can be quite flippant, like, oh, you broke up, and not realise that you're like going through lots of pain, like internal pain and suffering. And it is really cliche, but it is so true. And like when people would say this to me, it wasn't really what I wanted to hear, but like it is really all about time. Like you'll go through a roller coaster of different emotions, from being sad to excited to being angry, and you know, really hurt in your stomach and in your throat, you know, make you feel ill. Like it's very underrated kind of feeling going through a breakup, especially, you know, depending on the circumstances, just completely different. But okay, 1 cup in, bit of wine tasting in the background. We're just keeping it real here on a Friday night.
I'm only joking.
I'm gonna put like 2.5 because I'm
only joshing. I am
joshing you, bet. But what I will say, if you are going through a breakup, is don't feel like you're a burden when you talk to people about it. Like, I just remember feeling like the biggest pain in the arse, and that I was just so negative. Yeah, if you know me, I hate being that negative person, but like I really was for a fairly long time. But just remember, anything bad that you're going through, or like anything sad that you're going through, I always believe it's for a greater reason and a greater purpose. And like I honestly can't even tell you, like, if I knew then like what I know now and like how things would turn out, I would literally have cruised through it. Whatever's meant to be will be, and just know that better things are coming, and there is a reason why you've taken this kind of turn in your life. And also just remember, like, nothing's permanent. Meant to be, it'll be, blah 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 blah. But don't just like go back to someone just because you're lonely. Like, get used to being by yourself. We are single entities. So it's actually so cliche, but so important to feel content in yourself, by yourself, for you, because you shouldn't have to rely on another person to make you happy. Someone should add to your life, not be your life. But yeah, as I said, if you want like a whole video on it, or like if you want me and Jeff to like chat about it, because we have talked about it before, but Jeff's been through a divorce.
That is true.
He has come out the other side, and yeah.
And what a delight. See, I get to drink wine on a Friday night with some bish making me curry, eh? What are you gonna do? What a time to be alive.
I am that bish.
You are that bish.
I've just put in about half of this tin of coconut milk. So I've got the coconut milk mixed in with the blended tomato curry sauce. I've got the rice on to simmer, and I'm now going to cook my halloumi. So I'm gonna drain the water out. One of the questions was, did I get post-pill acne.
I did.
I've talked quite a lot about like coming off the pill and using natural birth control. I did a whole video about it, but that was a little while ago now. I think I did that video like maybe in June, and I'd only been off the pill then for about 5 or 6 months. I've been off the pill for a whole year now. Yay to us. Yeah, I use natural cycles, but yeah, I have talked about this before. And do you know what? I didn't get post-pill acne, which I was surprised about. There were some times, and like Jeff will actually remember this, when I was like, I'd freak out because I'd like start to get the kind of beginnings of acne. And when I was younger, I had really bad acne, like on all over my chin, probably until I was like, well, literally my whole life, basically, there'd always be some sort, but it never fully went away. And like, this is the longest I've ever gone with like completely clear skin. Like I've had clear skin now for about 3 months, which is like absolutely unheard of for me. So we are cheering. I don't know whether that's got anything to do with like my kind of, I don't know, like my diet and lifestyle choices. I've literally got no idea. It's really hard to know like what affects what, but yeah, I did go through some pretty intense like hormonal things. Like Jeff will remember the fire nipples. But again, yeah, I did talk about that in the coming off the pill video. You know, there's like a whole lot of things, like hormones are affected by like how much sleep you have, like how much exercise you do, like your diet, like, you know, everything, even like the amount of sugar you consume, like in terms of your like glucose, and you know, like everything is hormone based, isn't it? Like everything you do like affects your hormones. But yeah, if you're debating coming off the pill and like that's what's stopping you, like I wouldn't worry about that. You know, you don't want to just mask the problem all the time, personally, for me anyway. Okay, I've got my halloumi, which I've just coated in some of the curry spices, and I'm gonna fry this now in coconut oil, and then I'm gonna add it into the curry sauce, by which time the rice should be done. The last question I'm gonna answer, which was something along the lines of how did you stay healthy? What did it say? How did you stay healthy when you started? And I do actually get that question quite a lot, especially from my clients, like at the start, like how did I stay consistent with like the lifestyle change? I genuinely think, and like, again, cliches are there for a reason, but it really is about like focusing on building habits first, and not like, don't focus on sticking to a diet, focus on building habits. Like you see it all the time on like Instagram, TikTok, like habits is habits, but it's like, make something a habit and then it'll just be easy. So you can start small, like there is no end goal. You've got your whole life, and whatever you do, you want it to be for the rest of your life. Like you want to be able to eat a certain way forever, and you want to be able to train a certain way forever. Like you don't want quick, short-term yo-yos. You want, you know, like long-term, sustainable lifestyle where you're always happy and you're always confident and you're not yo-yoing back and forth. So just focus on the habits and the basics. Don't think of something crazy to do, like supplements. Form the habits. I always say like do something for 12 weeks. And I actually remember I had a holiday to France after 12 weeks. So I remember I was like, New Year, New Me. I was like so unhappy. Like the photos from the Christmas before I started like losing weight, like I was just really unhappy, and to be honest, it was like very self-loathing. But I had a holiday at the beginning of the April. So I was like, I'm gonna use this 12 weeks now. Like this is me 12 weeks. And it was just a habit by then. So like my training regime and like eating wise, I stuck to very kind of like Mediterranean style, like lots of protein, lots of oily fish, vegetables, fruits, eggs, you know, like all that sort of stuff. And kind of by the time the 12 weeks were around, I was going on this holiday, they were just like part of my normal habits and routines. So focus on habits first, focus on the basics first, and have long-term goals. Like don't have like, I want to lose 5 pounds, because once you've lost the 5 pounds, you're just like a little bit lost then. Like long-term, my goal is that when I'm 90, I want to literally like be able to jump over the fence. So that is a long-term goal. Lovely. So I've got my halloumi cooking here, cooking lovely and spicy. I've got my curry sauce here. I need to taste test this and I need to season it, and then I've got my rice, which is just finishing off steaming there. I'm gonna whack the halloumi straight into the sauce now that it's nice and crispy. And you go. There we are, give this a lovely stir. That looks nice. Lots of black pepper going in, pink salt.
Drop with it.
I'm gonna turn it off because it's like bubbling a little bit too much. Might stir in a little bit more of this coconut cream. I like a little tablespoon, because it might just like, yeah, mellow it out. We are ready to plate up now.
Bloomy's just watching me eat.
You gotta get a bite with all the layers.
10.
He's gotta say that.
No, it is really nice. Really nice, yeah. Lovely.
Try. It does taste mild when it's all together. You can make it as spicy as you want with the chili powder. I actually really like it in the halloumi and it goes really well. It actually kind of goes a little bit like gooey, which is like lush. I 100% recommend that you try and make this.
100% recommend you should make this.
You should definitely make this.
If you're vegan. Hey, your face. Oh my god, it's not vegan.
Oh my god, it's not vegan, it's got cheese in it. Alright, well, that is the cook with me done, as we are now dining on a Friday night. A lovely, warming, wintry halloumi curry, perfect for vegetarians. Still got a hit of protein from the halloumi. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please give it a like. It really helps the algorithm on YouTube for other people to discover my channel. And please subscribe, because I upload new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. And let me know if you like this kind of video, because I'll do more if you do. Maybe
I think
something
you should
sweet.
do more of these.
I think it's quite fun.
You should do more cook with me, I think.
Yeah, I think it was quite fun. I really enjoyed it. I'll get better. I'll get better camera angles for the next one. That's a promise. I'll look forward to seeing you in my next video, which will be on Wednesday.
Let us Bloomies have a good one.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.